So till now we have discussed about how we can measure rainfall and over a catchment area where there will be several number of rain gauge stations. In that case, how we can find out what is the rainfall in a particular catchment area, that is how we can find out the average value using those data from the various rain gauge stations, right? And we have seen that if before using those data, how if there are any sort of continuity error or consistency errors are there or not, and if there is some continuity error or consistency error, then how we can solve the problem. Now today we will discuss about the frequency analysis of rainfall. Frequency analysis of rainfall. And what is that frequency analysis? What do you feel? What is frequency analysis? কিরকম ফ্রিকোয়েন্সিতে হচ্ছে বলতে কি বোঝাচ্ছে সেটাই আমি জানতে চাচ্ছি। কতক্ষণ পর পর হচ্ছে? টাইম টাইমের রেসপেক্টে বৃষ্টির পরিমাণ। আচ্ছা, এনিওয়ান এলস? ফ্রিকোয়েন্সি অ্যানালিসিস, what does it mean? Frequency analysis of rainfall, what does it mean? কতবার হচ্ছে, রাইট? কতবার হচ্ছে, হোয়াট? একদিনে বা এক বছরে, হোয়াট? কতবার বৃষ্টি হচ্ছে, জাস্ট এইটুকুই? There will be some value, right? That means there can be some sort of magnitude, that what will be the number of rainfall having a magnitude of a certain value or certain depth. Suppose the depth is x centimeter or x millimeter, then how many times it is occurring in a particular day, in a particular year or something. So basically we are finding out the probability. Frequency analysis means that, right, how frequently it will occur, and what will occur? A precipitation will occur. Which sort of precipitation will occur? Precipitation with a certain magnitude. Suppose 10 millimeter of rainfall will occur. That is an event. 10 millimeter of precipitation will occur in a particular day. That is an event. And how frequently it is occurring? That is the frequency of that event. So if you are having the past data of anything, you can analyze the future, right? Or you can guess the future at least. And that is the probability. We have already learned in mathematics that probability. Right? So the probability of occurrence of an event is studied by frequency analysis. What are the chances of rainfall? So here we will find out what is the probability of occurrence of one event, and here event means a precipitation of a certain magnitude, right? Now the probability of occurrence of an event of a random variable, in this case our variable is rainfall our variable is rainfall, right? Whose magnitude is equal to or in excess of specified magnitude of x. So what is the chances that there will be a precipitation with a magnitude of x or more than x? That we need to find out. Why we need to analyze those things? Can you tell me? Why you need to analyze what are the chances of precipitation having a magnitude of x or more than x? Why we need to study that? As because we can say obviously जो होगा देखा जाएगा, right? We can say that जितना बारिश होगा देखा जाएगा. Why we need to study the future? Basically, what the reason why we are studying the hydrology, basically that is the reason. And any sort of design, any sort of hydraulic structure design or something, and those are the reasons for studying the hydrology, engineering hydrology, right? I have already stated in the initial classes that why we need to study this subject. I have already told in that particular class that why we need to study this subject. Those are the reasons. That is to control or to design sort of hydraulic structures, right? And not only that, one major thing is there, that is what will be the flow in canals, in rivers, and what will be the chances of flood, and how we can control the flood. Yes or not? As because those are related to flood. If there is a certain depth, allowed depth of flow in canals or any rivers allowed, and with respect to that we are designing various things. We are designing culverts, we are designing hydraulic structures and all. So we need to stay focused at what can be the maximum flow in this canal or in this river, right? Clear na? So basically for those reasons we need to study what can be the maximum chances of occurrence of certain amount of rainfall, and that x will be defined by u. X means what is the depth of the precipitation, that will be defined by u, that which data you are wanting. Are you calculating for flood or something else, right? So suppose we are wanting to find out the precipitation x of magnitude x or more than x, and what is the probability of that. We can denote that probability as P. Here. Now these are all known to us. I hope those are known to us, that if probability of an event is P, then the return period of that event will be 1 by P, and that will be denoted by T. Clear? The return period of that event will be T, will be equals to 1 by P. Now this represents the average interval between the occurrence of a rainfall magnitude of x or more than x, right? So this is representing the time. Okay. Now let us take an example what we are trying to say over there. What we are trying to say by this time return period, and what is the probability of something or something. Let us see one example, that if it is stated that the return period of rainfall of 20 centimeter in 24 hours, that is an event. The event is what? In this case the event is 20 centimeter precipitation in 24 hours. 20 centimeter precipitation, depth of precipitation in 24 hours. That is one event. And the return period of that event is suppose 10 years in a particular station A. What you are understanding by this line? What you are understanding by this line? That যেটা আমি বললাম, that is if the event is বলো 10 years से আরেকবার বলবে হ্যাঁ
20 সেন্টিমিটার যেটা তোমার এটা হচ্ছে রেইনফল যেটা 24 আওয়ার্স 10 ইয়ার্স এর ক্ষেত্রে স্যার মানে ক্যালকুলেশন যেটা হবে
না
10 ইয়ার্স এ আবার ওই ডেটাটা দেখতে পাওয়া যাবে
yes in হ্যাঁ বল হ্যাঁ না এটা মাথায় বেশি রাখতে লাগে so that means that that event will repeat itself after 10 years. Logically it means that, not necessarily it will be practical. Logically it means that, not directly that also. It means in 10 years of period it will occur one. Yeah. So similarly for a long period, suppose 100 years, 10 such events will be there in 100 years. 10 such events will be there where we can expect that rainfall of 20 centimeter or above will be occurring in 24 hours. Clear? একটু কনফিউজিং আছে হ্যাঁ however that is your answer যেটা আমি বললাম it doesn't mean that it will repeat after 10 years. It doesn't mean that today is 8 August 2024. That doesn't mean that in 8 August, suppose this situation is occurring right now in this particular date, it doesn't mean that it will repeat in the 8 August 2034. It doesn't mean that. However, it does not mean that every 10 years one such event is likely. Likely means likely to occur, right? That is it means 10 times it will occur. Simply it means that in 100 years. Okay, the probability of a rainfall of 20 centimeter in 24 hours occurring in any one year at station A is 1 by T. So if the time period, I have already told you, if the probability is P, time period is 1 by P. So if the time period is 10 years, then probability of that event in a particular year is 1 by 10. As because P will be equals to 1 by T. Simple. ठीक है ना? ठीक तो? Okay. Now, P is the probability of a particular event occurring. Probability of that event occurring. That is the P. So what will be the probability not occurring? Probability of not occurring that event. What will be the probability? That will be Q, and that will be equals to 1 minus P. Simple. Maximum probability can be 1. So not occurring will be 1 minus P. Simple. So probability of occurrence of that event are times. Not 1, not 2, not 3, but are times in n successive years, not 1, not 2, not 3, but in successive years, what are the chances? What is the probability? The probability will be PRN, and that will be find out by this formula, and already you have used this formula in probability, right? In statistics, in probability, you have already used those things, right? That is NCR P to the power R, Q to the power n minus R. And that will be equals to factorial n divided by factorial n minus R multiplied by factorial R multiplied by P to the power R multiplied by Q to the power n minus R. Now this is the probability. This is what basically last one. This is what probability of probability of গুছিয়ে বলো, completely বলো, probability of occurrence of that event r time in n successive years. Let us take some equation so that it will be helpful to you, and those equation you should remember, as because if you remember the master equation, that will be also okay. These equations are coming from that equation simply, but if you directly remember those equations, it will be helpful if those numericals come in your exam, as because otherwise you have to solve this equation for those cases, then only you can use those equations, right? Now what are the equations saying? The probability of an event of exceeding probability P occurring 2 times. Now here R equals to 2. Occurrence of an event 2 times in n successive years. So R equals to 2, n equals to n. We are having P 2n. Put R equals to n in the R equals to 2 in the above equation. You will get this formula. Simple, right? Next is what they are saying, that the probability of the event not occurring at all in n successive years. Not occurring at all. Not occurring at all means R equals to 0. Not occurring at all 0 in n successive years. Put R equals to 0. You will get this only, as because this will be factorial n, this will be factorial n again, right? And factorial of 0 is equals to factorial of 0 equals to, তাহলে তো পুরোটাই 0 হয়ে যেত বাবা, অ্যাটলিস্ট ইকুয়েশনটা তো দেখে তো বলো, হ্যাঁ মনে রাখবে, factorial of 0 is equals to 1, not 0. What do you understand by factorial then? Why it is not 0? As because we know that factorial means multiplication up to that number. So factorial 2 means 2 multiplied by 1. Factorial 3 means 3 multiplied by 2 multiplied by 1, right? So why not factorial 0 means 0? Factorial doesn't mean that multiplication of the, obviously eventually it is that value, but factorial means if you are having 3 samples, what is the number of arrangement of those samples, how you can arrange a set out of it. Clear? So you can set 1 2 3, you can set 1 2 2 3, right? You can set 1 2 3. That is why we are getting 3 multiplied by 2 multiplied by 1, 0 if you are having none. Then the arrangement will be 1. You can arrange null only once. The arrangement will be 1. That is why factorial 0 is 1, nothing but 1. Okay, so if you put those value, factorial 0 is equals to 1, factorial p to the power here will be p to the power 0. R is equals to 0 na, in our case r equals to 0, so p to the power 0 and q to the power n minus 0. So ultimately you will get q to the power n, and q is nothing but 1 minus n. So 1 minus n to the power 1 minus p, sorry, 1 minus p and 1 minus p to the power n, and that is your equation. So probability of not occurring that event in n successive years is equals to either this or this. Now thirdly, they are saying, now tell me, এটা আমি একটু নামিয়ে দিই, better হবে. Now tell me, the probability of the event occurring at least once in n successive year, then what should be the formula? R equals to 1. R equals to those who are listening this lecture, tell me what will be. একজন বলেছে R equals to 1. Any other persons? R equals to বলো. R equals to 1. R equals to আর কেউ? See the line properly, that is they are saying probability of occurrence of that event at least 1. That doesn't mean that R is 1. Why? R means what? R means the number of occurrence of that event, right? So if it is happening one time, this is also correct. If it is happening 2 times in n successive year, then it is also valid for this statement, as because they are saying at least once. They are not suggesting that you cannot take n times or any other number types. So R will not be 1. So how we can find out the probability for those cases? See the above one, just the second one. What they are saying? Not occurring at all. That is the probability of not occurring at all. So other probability will be at least one time of occurrence. If P0n, this is the probability of the event not occurring once in n successive year, then obviously the remaining probabilities will be valid for the last one. That is, this 1 minus this probability suggests that at least one time it will occur. ঠিক কি না? This probability is suggesting একবারও হবে না, কিন্তু একবারও যদি হয়ে যায় তাহলে আমাদের এটা একবারও হতে গেলে কি হবে? প্রবাবিলিটিটাকে যদি আমি মাইনাস করে দিই 1 এর থেকে, you will get the probability for occurrence of at least one. So this value is known, right? This value is known as q to the power n. So we can do this, p minus q to the power n, and that will be equals to 1 minus, in bracket, if you put the value of q is equals to 1 minus p, then it will. One example is there. Now solve the example quickly, right? They are saying analysis of data on the maximum 1-day rainfall depth in Chennai indicates that a depth of 300 millimeter had a return period of 50 years. Has a return period of 50 years. What is the event? You need not to write the event as well. The event is either 300 millimeter or more precipitation will occur. That is the event, that is variable, nothing but the variable. Our main thing is that is t equals to 50. Now what they are saying, first of all they have said, find out what is the probability that it will occur once in 20 successive years. বার করো তো কি হবে? It will occur once in 20 successive years. You have seen the last equations, right? Last three equations, right? একবার দেখাবো, আমি দেখাতে পারি, কোনো অসুবিধা নেই। যদি নিজে থেকে সলভ করতে পারো তো ভালো তো। These are the formulae. So this is for a particular value of r. এটা মনে না রাখলেও চলবে, if you remember the main equation, right? এই দুটো ডিরেক্টলি মনে রাখলে সুবিধা হবে। So you can see that first of all, so you need to find out or you need to know, obviously r will be given to you, n will be given to you in example. Here it is also given that once it is occurring in 20 successive years, that is given. But the thing is, you need to find out p and q, as because all the formulae is dependent on the p value and q value. These equations, the probability of p, actually you need to know to those, find out those probabilities. So if the return period is t, 50 years, what will be the value of p? That is, you need to know first of all, right? So first of all, you need to find out what is the probability of occurrence of that event, t. What is the probability of not occurrence of that event? That is q. Those two values you need to know. First question was there, and this is the equation, main equation, right? Okay. First what they have said, that once in 20 successive years. Once in 20 successive years. They are not saying at least once. There is a difference of at least once and once. They have specified once, means r will be equals to 1. So r is equals to 1, n is equals to 20, as because 20 successive years they have said. Put the values of r equals to 1, n equals to 20, p equals to 0.02, q equals to 0.98, and solve it. You can find out the value. Yes or not? It will be quicker if you know how to use factorial in your calculator. I hope you know factorial. Secondly, they have asked another question, that is, find out the probability of occurrence that event 2 times in 50 successive years. R equals to 2, n equals to 15, r equals to 2, n equals to 15. P and q values will be the same. Put the values, you can find out. Lastly, they have asked that find out the probability that that event will occur at least once in 20 successive years. Now at least once means the last equation. So it will be better if you remember those two equations at least. Otherwise you can find out, obviously. So first of all, you have to find out p0n, then you have to find out 1 minus p0n. ठीक है ना? So if you know the equation, you can simply find out that probability, and that will be equals to 1 minus, in bracket, 1 minus p to the power n. And this sort of small questions may come into your exam, or maybe in your competitive exams like GATE and all. Now this is regarding how we can find out the probability of an event by those equations if you know the previous data, then right. And then we are having this one that is called plotting position, where some empirical formulae are given by which we can find out the probability of occurrence of one event. To do so, what we need to find out? First of all, we need to find out a set of data of rainfall. As because we are doing for the rainfall, I am giving you the example of rainfall only. Otherwise, this plotting data is valid for each and every set of rainfall if you are finding out the probability of anything. But in our case, the variable is rainfall, as because we are finding out the probability of rainfall only. So if you are having a past data of rainfall of suppose 5 years or 10 years, right? So this is a small sample, small set of sample, right? So suppose in 2023, 2022, 2021, 20 and so on, you are having a precipitation of suppose for a 1 year annual rainfall is 113, 117, 106 and so on. I'm not giving you the units as because unit can be anything. This is some just an example. So first of all, what we need to do to find out the plotting position, this method, what we need to do, first of all, we have to arrange those variables or those datas. We need to arrange those datas in decreasing order. So the highest value will be at the top. In our three values, the highest value is 117, then we are having 113, 106, and if there are other values are there, so that will be there. So the highest value will be at the top and the lowest value will be at the bottom, and we will rank it, right? So this will be ranked as 1, this will be ranked as 2, this will be ranked as 3 and so on. So if you arrange your data in this manner and provide any sort of rank to it, so each and every data is having its own rank, and obviously suppose you are having n number of data, clear, and the rank of a particular event, that is 113, is denoted by suppose m. Then the probability of occurrence of that event is m by n, or other formulas are there, simply you can say m by n. Other formulas are there, I am showing you, right? So what they are saying, a simple empirical technique is to arrange the given annual extreme series in decreasing or descending order of magnitude and to assign an order number m. Order number means rank. Here, thus, for the first entry of m is equals to 1. Yes or not? For second, that m equals to 2 and so on. Ultimately, m will be equals to n. Obviously, the last data, as because n number of data are there, last data will be equals to whatever it is, 87 or something. This m will be equals to n. Yes or not? If you are having 10 number of data, obviously the last rank will be 10. हम रेस में थर्ड आए हैं, 3 जन दौड़ रहा था, right? Like that. ठीक. So we have given m and n to any event. Now what is the probability? The probability can be find out by those formulae. Now various formulas are there. Either you can go for this formula. I have already told you this formula, that what is the probability of occurrence 113 amount of rainfall in a 1 year. The probability is 2 by, in our case suppose n equals to 10, so 2 by 10. Similarly, other formulas are there, that is Hazen formula are there. So this is used in MATLAB, right? Weibull, this formula is commonly used. So the unknown values are m and n, and you have to find out the m and n by the set of data, nothing else. Simple na? Obviously, there will not be any sort of question in your exam. I hope so, right? Now,